was not born into darkness. I was answered by it. The night I died, Ravenhurst wore its oldest phase. Gas lamps flickering like dying saints. Fog coiling through iron streets as if the earth itself exhaled. Bells rang somewhere far away, slow and familiar, though no funeral had been announced for me. I remember the cold first, not the cold of winter, but the cold of knowing you are no longer alone. You walk as though you're already grieving. A voice said behind me. I did not turn, I knew better. In Ravenhurst, if the dark speaks to you, it is already touching your spine. I mourn the living, I answered. They never know when they're about to lose themselves. A soft laugh amused Ancient. Boots crossed stone, I smelled old rain, and blood that had learned patience. What would you give, he asked, to never be powerless again? I finally faced him. His eyes were not red. They were deep, like looking down a well and realizing something was looking back. Everything I said, if it meant I could choose who I become, that was the wrong answer, or perhaps the only one that ever mattered. The attack was not violent at first. He held my face as one might hold a relic, careful, reverent. This will hurt, he murmured. But pain is only the door, what comes after is clarity. His fangs slid into my throat, like confession into sin. I remember my heartbeat fighting, panicked, frantic, until it slowed, until it surrendered. The world collapsed inward, sound warped, light fractured, and then silence. I woke buried beneath stone, not metaphorically, literally. My nails split as I clawed upward, lungs screaming for air they no longer needed. I broke through soil, coffin wood, and centuries of fear with a strength that felt borrowed and permanent. I knelt in the graveyard, rain soaking my dress, blood humming beneath my skin like a choir learning my name. I laughed, then I cried, then I understood. You live, he said from the shadows, most don't. I stood, trembling, not weak but new. What am I asked. He stepped into the moonlight, and for the first time I saw his scars not on his body, on his soul. You are a choice, he replied, one that will haunt itself. looked at my hands, at the hunger coiled in my veins like a beast on a leash. Then I will starve it, I said. I will not become you. Something flickered across his face, regret, pride, warning. Every vampire says that, he whispered, until the hunger teaches them truth. But here is the truth I learned. Immortality does not strip you of humanity. It tests whether you ever deserved it. I learned to pace my thirst, to hunt without killing, to endure centuries while others burned bright and died screaming in their own excess. I became restraint. I became memory. I became the quiet fear whispered among reckless young vampires who mistook cruelty for strength. They call me weak. They call me outdated. Lucien calls me a liar to my own nature. But I have watched monsters rise and fall like failed gods. And I am still here because I did not let the dark decide who I would be. I chose. And in Ravenhurst, choice is the most dangerous thing a vampire can possess. Blood I refused. Death did not end me. It paused me just long enough for the dark to lean close and whisper mine. I woke on stone so cold it felt ceremony. My eyes were opened, but I had no breath in my lungs. Instinct screamed for air. Nothing came. That was when I understood. Panic was a memory now, not a warning. The hunger I've next. Not pain, not fear. One, it coiled through me like something that had always been waiting. I tried to move my body, answered too quickly, too precisely. I was no longer clumsy with myself, I was sharpened. You feel it, he said. Say it. His voice lived in the shadows, the way prayers live in abandoned churches. I feel everything, I whispered. That pleased him. He told me it was eternity opening its eyes. I wanted to believe him. When he cut his palm, the scent of his blood struck me harder than any blow. My vision tunneled, my mouth filled with heat. I turned away, ashamed of how badly I wanted it. I don't want to hurt anyone, I said. Then you will hurt yourself, he replied gently as if this were kindness. He pressed his bleeding hand to my lips. I drank and cried at the same time. measured, curated, just enough to keep my conscience breathing while my hunger learned patience. The first human I fed from lived. That mattered to me. It did not matter to him. Months passed, I learned how to move without sound, how to listen through walls, how to taste lies in someone's pulse. I became efficient, controlled. Still, I hesitated. The night he tested me, the man was drunk and alone, reeking of grief and cheap liquor. I could hear his heart stumbling like it wanted to stop. Do it, he said. I didn't move. He doesn't need to die, I told him. His disappointment was immediate, sharp. Neither did you. That was the moment something in me broke cleanly in two. You didn't save me, I said. You changed me. He told me he loved me. I laughed then, not because it was funny, but because it finally made sense. No, I said you loved not being alone. I left him that night. I found another vampire in an alley days later, feeding without restraint. A woman lay crumpled beneath him, still breathing. I tore him off her and felt rage, not hunger. Take the lead. He called me weak, starving myself, delaying the inevitable. I am choosing, I told him. I ended him quickly, cleanly. I ended him quickly, cleanly. When I returned to the manor, he was waiting for me, shadows clinging to him like old habits. You disobeyed me, he said. I stood taller than I ever had in life. I outgrew you. That was my true beginning. Not the night I died, not the night I rose, but the night I refused to become what made me. And the blood has never forgiven me for it. Raquel, the night I nearly gave in. There was a winter when the hunger stopped being loud and became clever. It didn't roar. It whispered. I had gone too long without feeding properly. I told myself it was discipline, balance. But starvation dresses itself as virtue when you want to believe you are stronger than your nature. That night, the snow fell thick and soundless over Ravenhurst, turning the streets into a cathedral of white. Even the city seemed to be holding its breath. I heard her heart before I saw her. Fast, uneven, afraid, but not of me. She was running. I followed without meaning, to not stalking, not hunting, just listening. Her pulse tugged at something deep in my chest, each beat a hand knocking politely at a locked door. She slipped into an alley and pressed herself against the brick, gasping, blood soaked through her coat, dark and steaming in the cold. Knife wound fresh. I should have helped her and left. I knelt instead. The smell of her blood was different from anything I remembered. Bright, desperate, alive. My fangs ached, my mouth filled with heat. I clenched my jaw until it hurt. It's okay, I told her, and hated how true that felt. Her eyes found mine, relief bloomed there, immediate and fatal. Please, she whispered, I don't want to die. Neither did I. I tore my gaze from her throat and pressed my hand over the wound. The bleeding slowed beneath my touch, my body answering with power I rarely allowed myself to feel, but the hunger surged, not for blood alone, for release, for the simplicity of taking and being done with it. I leaned closer, too close, her breath stuttered as she felt it. Whatever I was, you're safe, I said again, but my voice betrayed me. It shook. She noticed. Her pulse jumped. The sound was unbearable. My fangs slid free without permission. For one terrible second I imagined it. How easy it would be. One bite, one moment of surrender. No witnesses, no consequences. Warmth, silence, relief. I could already taste it. That was when she reached for me. Not in fear, in trust. Her fingers closed around my sleeve, weak and trembling. Thank you, she whispered. The word cut through me like sunlight. I recoiled as if struck, stumbling back into the snow. I tore my fangs back, blood roaring in my ears. I remembered the man and the manner, the way disappointment looked when it wore love. The voice that told me hunger was truth. I ripped a strip from my coat and pressed it into her hands. Hold this, I ordered too sharply. Press hard, don't let go. I vanished before she could ask another question. I ran until the city blurred, until the hunger burned itself raw and quiet again. I fed later, carefully, from someone who would live, who would forget. But that woman's heartbeat stayed with me, because that night I learned the most dangerous thing about my vow. It isn't tested by monsters. It's tested by the innocent who trust you when you are starving. And I knew then, one day, the hunger would come for me when I was weaker, and it would remember that I almost said yes. After that night, the hunger stopped pretending. It knew my face now. It learned the sound of my restraint cracking, and the shape of the lies I told myself to keep standing. Every time I fed carefully, sparingly it waited, patient as a grave. For the next moment I would be tired or lonely or kind. I stopped sleeping near the city. Ravenhurst was too full of heartbeats, too full of people who trusted shadows not to reach for them. I took refuge in places the living had abandoned, chapels with collapsed roofs, train stations sealed in rust, houses where grief had already done the killing. I told myself solitude was safety. It wasn't. It was quiet enough for memories to speak. I began to dream again. That should not have been possible. I dreamed of my maker's voice, soft, disappointed. You are starving yourself. I would wake with my hands clenched, fangs bared, the taste of blood phantom warm on my tongue. That was when I realized something else had changed. The hunger wasn't just physical anymore. It was emotional. I craved connection the way I once craved air. A presence, a witness, someone who could see what I was becoming and not turn away. Or worse, approve. That was when Lucien found me. Or perhaps I found him. He was loud in every way. I was not young, burning. Surrounded by others who fed recklessly and laughed about it after their confidence reeked of fresh blood and borrowed courage. He looked at me like I was a myth he intended to replace. "You're her," he said, smiling, "the one who pretends." I didn't correct him. "You could rule," he went on, "you're old strong, but you kneel to rules you made for yourself. Why?" I saw it then, what he would become, what they all would. "I've watched your future." I told him it's loud, short, and cruel. He laughed. That's what power sounds like. I almost envied him. Almost. A night, one of his followers went too far. A body left broken behind a club post, gone eyes staring someone's sister, someone's mistake. Lucien didn't care. Collateral, he said, we're not human anymore. The hunger stirred, sharp, approving. This time, it wasn't asking me to feed, it was asking me to punish. I stood over the body, fury tightening my chest. Ending him would be easy, justified, even I could feel the line thinning. The one that separated justice from indulgence. For a moment I wanted the release. I wanted to stop choosing. That was when I felt it. A presence I hadn't felt in centuries. Old, familiar, devastating. My maker was near. The hunger went silent all at once. Not afraid, reverent. I knew then why he had returned, not to reclaim me. To watch. To see if I would finally prove him right. I looked at Lucien, at the body, at the dark, waiting so patiently for my answer. And I understood the cruel truth of my existence. The vow is never over. It simply waits for the moment you are most certain you've already won. The thirst always wins, they say. I did not follow him. when he fled. That is the lie Lucien tells himself, that I chose mercy. The truth is quieter, heavier. I stayed because Ravenhurst was listening. The crypt breathed after he vanished, stones settling, dust drifting like ash after a sermon no god attended. My pulse slowed, but the hunger did not. It never does. It coils patiently like something ancient that knows I will eventually look its way. Lucien mistakes that patience for weakness. I pressed my palm to the cracked pillar he shattered. The stone was still warm where his fury had kissed it. Young blood burns hot, bright, reckless, loud. Mine has learned to smolder, mine waits. He believes power is taken in mouthfuls, torn throats, empty bodies left as proof. I learned long ago that power is what you refuse, when it would be so easy to say yes. I remember the first time I didn't. The night I realized restraint hurt more than starvation, and chose it anyway. Lucien wears his hunger like a crown. He wants Ravenhurst to kneel, because kneeling looks like love. When you've never known it, he does not understand that this city survives because someone stays awake while monsters dream. I walk the streets, he claims in whispers. I hear the rats scatter before dawn, feel the veins of the town beneath my feet. Fear, desire, regret, all of it singing. Ravenhurst does not need a king, it needs a warden. I step out of the crypt and into the fog, letting the night swallow the glow from my eyes. Somewhere above, Lucien is already telling his followers a story where he almost won, where I hesitated, where he frightened me. Let him. Stories rot when they are fed too quickly. And when he finally falls, and he will, I will not be the one who pushes him. His own excess will do that. I will simply be there to close the door behind him, because I am not the good vampire. I am the one who remains. Half a century later, I learned what hunger really was. Time had sanded the sharpest edges of the world by then. Empires had changed names. Wars were new, you He was a warrior in the old sense of the word, not loud about it, not cruel, steel without cruelty. He carried himself like someone who had already made peace with death, and that made him dangerous in ways even he didn't understand. We met where borders blurred, mud, firelight men, pretending courage could be forged like iron. He should have feared me. Instead, he watched me like I was a storm he meant to walk into. I did not plan to love him, that is another lie. I tell myself I felt it the first night, felt the way my senses sharpened when he entered a room, the way the hunger shifted, confused itself, softened. For the first time in decades, blood was not the loudest thing in my thoughts. He called me mortal when he teased. I let him believe it. Loving a human is not like loving another immortal. Everything is fragile, every laugh feels borrowed, every touch carries an echo of its ending. I told myself I would leave before it went too far. I never do. The night I killed him was full of warmth, that's what haunts me most. No thunder, no violence written into the sky, just breath, skin, the press of bodies that believed they had time. Passion came like a tide, fast, intoxicating, and for one terrible moment I forgot who I was, forgot what I was. His pulse under my mouth was thunderous, alive, trusting. I remember the way his hands tightened against my back when my fangs slipped free, not in fear, in surrender. I fed too deeply. The realization came too late, that subtle shift, the slowing, the silence was strength had been. I pulled back, choking on blood that no longer wanted to return to a living body. His eyes searched my face, confused, already dimming, still trying to understand what I had done for him rather than to him. Raquel, he whispered, like a prayer he'd forgotten the words to. Then there was nothing left to forgive me. I held him until the sun threatened the horizon. Warriors die on battlefields, not in lovers' arms. I broke every rule I had ever written for myself that night, and the punishment was exquisite. It didn't end with him. Grief does not make monsters gentle, it makes them reckless. I drowned in it. I fed without ceremony, without restraint, without names. Innocents, travelers, people whose lives would never make songs. I told myself it was punishment, that I deserved to rot in blood if it meant feeling something other than his absence. The city learned to fear shadows again. So did I. It took years before I could stand the sound of a heartbeat without wanting to tear it open or press my ear against it and beg it to stay. That was when I understood the truth I would carry forever. Lucian. his indulgence, Brander taught me power is restraint bought with unbearable loss. I loved once truly completely, and I paid for it with a lifetime of control. That is why I do not lose myself now. That is why I do not forgive except because I know exactly how much blood it takes to ruin something beautiful. Decades that followed Brander's death were long and quiet, and yet each night was loud in its own way. Ravenhurst had changed, but not fast enough. Human lives continued, fragile and fleeting. And I learned to know, like the tide, always in the dark, always beneath the surface. I built walls around myself, brick by brick. No laughter, no touch, no whispers in the night. The city became my canvas, alleys, rooftops, forgotten crypt. I watched the living carefully, studied their patterns, their small victories and inevitable failings. And still sometimes, when the wind moved just so, I felt him, Brander, like a hand on my chest. Not flesh, not warmth, but the echo of a love I had destroyed. Hunger, once a companion I could negotiate with, became sharper after him. It was never just thirst, it was memory, desire, pain. When I fed, it was with caution. I would take what was necessary, leave no mark, leave no ruin. And yet sometimes, late at night, I would let myself forget, just for a moment, just long enough to remember what it had felt like to have someone truly inside my life. It was during one of those nights when the fog rolled heavy over Ravenhurst and the gas lamps flickered like dying stars that I saw him, or at least someone like him. A figure on a rooftop, steel glinting faintly under moonlight, moving with a discipline and honor that reminded me of Brander. I didn't chase him, I didn't approach, but I watched every motion, every measured step, every glance toward the streets below. Something inside me stirred, something I hadn't felt since that night decades ago. Hope. Hope that I might not always be alone. Fear that I would destroy it if I tried. It was a cruel reminder. Love is not a gift, it is a test, and I am an immortal who has failed it once already. Yet even as I swore I would never let it happen again, I felt the old hunger twist in my chest. Not for blood this time, but for connection. A hunger for warmth in a world that only offered shadows. I realized then that the story of Raquel, my story, was never just about survival. It was about restraint. About enduring the weight of what I had done, choosing every day to walk forward anyway. And in that choice I began to understand something Brander had always known, that even a broken immortal can still feel, that even a creature of the night can still hope. Years, 1 century of endless nights of learning to walk in shadow, to move like smoke, to survive on the hunger that has no end. I remember the moment he turned me, my blood leaving me. The cold said in my veins, the world slid ink away. He called it a gift, I called it a curse. There, spent a century hunting him across continents, through wars, through cities that rose and fell like sand. I followed rumors whispered in darkness, clues hidden in the footprints of the forgotten. Every lead ended in disappointment, until the year 1880. London, the fog-choked streets of Whitechapel, a city trembling under the fear of a killer who stalked the poor and the lost, Jack the Ripper. The police were baffled, the public terrified, the streets slick with rain and blood. It was a city ripe for hunting, and I moved through it like a shadow among shadows. And there he was, my maker. I could feel him before I saw him. Across a narrow alley, gas lamps flickering in the fog, he stood watching a predator comfortable in his superiority. He had watched me grow, let me crawl through centuries of pain. And now he thought he could enjoy the sight of me hunting him. You've grown stronger, he said, voice smooth, fell Stronger than I intended, yet still mine. I 100 years of rage, sorrow, an endless hunger burned through me. I was no longer his child. I was the creature he created. And now, I would end him. The fight was inevitable. Shadows became my allies as I struck, moving faster than any human could follow. His attacks were precise, elegant, predictable. I had learned from him. I had grown beyond him. Every strike I delivered carried a century of memories. Every scream I silenced was a whisper of vengeance. The city around us did not notice. The terrified cries of Whitechapel's poor mingled with the distant thunder of hooves on cobblestones. Gas lamps flickered, rain sizzled on the stones, and Jack the Ripper's terror played like a chorus behind me. I almost wondered if he had seen what we were. Two monsters in the night, and called it fate. Finally I stood over him. Blood slicked my hands, his crimson staining the rain. And I felt the curse thrumming through me. I had killed, I had fed. The monster he made me was complete. There was no redemption. Only the hunger. Only the endless night. I slipped into the fog. The city swallowing me. The centuries rolled past, wars came and went, empires fell. Cities rose from the ashes, and I slept as the world changed without me. The world was still, yet alive. I moved through a city I did not recognize, yet one that felt familiar, as if the bones of Ravenhurst had never slept, only waited for me. Fog rolled between skyscrapers and narrow alleys, curling like smoke around neon signs that hummed with a strange pulse. I saw him first as a shadow, a figure trembling in the distance, a young man lost, alone, and fragile amidst the towering, indifferent city. Shadows clung to him, thick and dark, whispering around his feet like hungry things. He seemed to search for something, or someone, but I knew he did not know. It was me he sought. Then the melody began, faint at first, like a memory of wind through a cathedral, then rising, clear and urgent. It was my voice, though I had not sung, my song yet centuries old, carried on some unseen current. The notes trembled through the streets, through the fog, touching the shadows and stirring the boy's confusion into recognition. He looked up, and for a moment our eyes met. A spark, electric and fleeting, passed between us. Something he could not understand, something I could not name yet knew intimately. But the shadows were not kind. They hissed and twisted, curling closer to him, suffocating. Jealous, I reached for him, but the fog swallowed my hands. The melody faltered. And then I woke. The room was dark. My chest ached, not with hunger, but with longing. The city outside my window was real, yet muted, quiet, waiting. My senses prickled, alive, attuned to something, someone. He is here. He is lost, and Ravenhurst calls me. I rise, stretching my limbs that have not known sunrise in centuries. My reflection in the mirror is the same as ever, timeless, cursed, but my heart, it is stirred. Even now, even after all these years, tonight, I will find him. Tonight, I will find him. Ravenhurst never sleeps. It only pretends, holding its breath behind locked doors and drawn curtains, hoping the night will pass without remembering what it owes. I feel at the moment I return. The flow curling low along the streets. The old iron fences humming with memory. The sterns beneath my boats recognizing my weight. They always do. The air tastes familiar, cold, metallic, alive. Every heartbeat in this town flickers against my senses like a candle flame. Fragile and defiant, I could close my eyes and map them all. The insomniac behind the pharmacy, the levers pressed together in borrowed warmth, to the man kneeling beside his bed, whispering a prayer he does not believe will save him. Fear has a rhythm, so does desire. I step into the gaslight, and the shadows bang toward me without being told. Mirrors, cloud dogs fall silent. The night knows my name, even when no one else dares to say it. They will tell stories about my return. They always do. They'll say the temperature dropped. There's something None of them will be right. I was born once, soft and mortal. My men branquenin called it justice. I died beneath hands that promised mercy, and delivered devotion to fire instead. And when I lose, it was not with screaming or rage, but with clarity, with hunger, sharpened into patience. I learned to endure. Ravenhurst called me back because something old is woken beneath it, older than the boys who play at rebellion, older than the pretenders who think immortality makes them gods. I feel it watching, measuring the blood in my veins, as if it remembers me. Let it. My mouth curves into a smile. I no longer bother hiding. I move forward, each step deliberate, controlled somewhere close. A heartbeat stutters, betrays itself. I inhale slowly, savoring the way the night tightens around me. I've not come to hide. I have come to remind them who survives. And this time, I am hungry.